what's up guys? Jakob here, and today I want to talk about the challenges that no one is actually talking about when running a seven-figure business. So what you see online, all of those fake gurus, they're saying that in order to build a seven-figure agency, you just need to do that, do this, and that, and that's it, right? And buy my course. And that's usually it. But from what I've actually checked, like I'm really in this space for some time now, that not that many people actually, first of all, managed to build a seven-figure agency before started talking about how to build one, right? That's why I actually started to record those videos, because I really want to just cut all of the bullshit, cut all of the crap, cut all of the noise, and just share all of my learnings, tips and tricks, how to actually get to the seven-figure agency. If you're building one, especially software agency, a dev shop, a software house, or AI automation agency, anything related to software, I think you will get something from this video. So let's begin. So let me actually go to my recording station. You may have a look a little bit into our office. It's actually a Christmas break right now, so there are no employees here. But yeah, this is usually where I record my videos, as our podcast from YouTube station. So I'll be actually speaking from my heart to you. It's not really scripted, it's more like a freestyle. So let's begin, guys. Building the agency. I think I've covered multiple times on this channel already, but the huge difference between being a freelancer and running the agency. While freelance, you can still have your full-time job, and you have, for example, one side gig when you are developing WordPress website, building some automations or coding some system. And if it's just one client who's paying you monthly, it's all good, right? But if you are building the agency, that's totally different, because your goal is to scale, your goal is to hire people, your goal is to run an actual business. So challenge number one, wearing many hats, okay? The biggest difference really between a freelancer running the agency. By wearing many hats, I mean you are the salesperson, a marketer, HR person, you may be a developer, operations head, a CFO, literally everything. I mean, you run a business, you need to take care of getting new leads, handle them, turn them to the clients. So do the marketing, do the HR, meaning you either hire full-time people, or freelancers, meaning managing the job descriptions, job boards, going through the recruitment process with those people. Also, depending on the role, you need to really do your homework also before hiring people. I mean, if you're a developer and you're about to hire a developer, I think this is the easiest case, right? Because you can at least do this HR interview. For example, give them coding task, do the tech meeting when you also verify the technological knowledge. So that's pretty much settled. But if you're about to hire someone responsible for sales or marketing, you don't have really much experience doing that, you may actually most likely to fail. So you really need to learn all of this along the way. Actually, now you can use ChatGPT as your consultant. It will help you a lot, figuring out the recruitment process, figuring out what's really needed for your actual business from those people. So I'm just saying that it's not that you will be just coding. You really need to handle everything, and you really need to learn how to delegate your day-to-day tasks to those people. Challenge number two, getting the clients. Getting your first clients is actually much harder than you expect. And trust me with this. A lot of people think that all they need to do when starting a business is create their page, create some social media account, and the leads will start flowing in. And unfortunately, this is not true. I would say since the internet was created now, online space is super saturated of all of the businesses. I mean, if you are creating the business, I would definitely recommend you to go international, not really focus on your country only, because it actually gives you much more reach and you can solve problems worldwide. That's one thing, but overall, just about getting your first client. I mean, your first pitch will suck, your first offer will suck. You'll have to over deliver, get to the problems with your client. You'll probably do all of the mistakes along the way, but that's all fine. That's actually normal, and you will learn from it, right? Your first gig will be very bad, most likely, but the next ones will be actually better and better. Also, your first contract most likely will suck. I doubt that you can afford top-notch lawyers to create a contract for you. When I was starting, I was just looking for some templates. I was asking people who are also running the business if they can share some contracts with me, if I can even pay them for that. Overall, I'm just saying that getting your first clients, it's much harder than you think. And how we got our first clients, we really leverage, at this point, like I would say I've leveraged my personal connections. I've just posted almost everywhere about it. And back then I had actually very big Instagram following, so that helped me a lot. But in the end, I actually got my first lead from my university Slack. So yeah, really use everything you can to and let everyone know that you are about to run a business. And actually this is how you may get your first leads and turn them to the clients. Challenge number 3 is unrealistic clients' expectations. And I think that it's not even about the beginning, it's all the time. Like we are having this all the time. Even right now when we have really strict processes, contracts, offers, when we say that first step is to really deliver the MVP and then build on top of this, still, even if you tell your client that, hey, this is just MVP, this will be buggy, this will require maintenance, this will break, but at least you can get it very fast for a relatively cheap price. The expectations are just much higher, right? Like they want the app to be already scalable. They want the app that you built to be extremely fast, that it can run on like 1,000 customers right away. So no matter what you sell, your clients will have unrealistic expectations from you. And this is where you really need to just inform them. First of all, you cannot lie. Like you just can't tell them that, yes, you will do it, but in reality, you will not, because I'm telling you, you'll have consequences from that. And I'm also speaking from experience, especially in the beginning when you are like super confident that you can do something. Yeah, maybe as a first gig you can, but like this is not scalable, then this won't work in the long run. So I would say really discuss and deliver realistic expectations from the projects. And that's how you should also like let your clients know what are you actually going to deliver them, how this will work, and they need to approve that. And for this, like I highly recommend creating like a proper offer with like really defined scope of work. Challenge number 4, and this is very interesting, is that people management is really, really tough. And this is actually much tougher than I thought, because when you hire people, you think that a lot of thing is like a well-known knowledge that the people that you hire, you expect them to actually already know things that you know, but that's really not true. That's really not the case. They're just starting working at your company. They don't know you. They don't know your processes. They don't know your past. They don't know your learnings and your experience. For this, like I highly recommend having the SOPs, really all knowledge also written down in like one space, like a ClickUp or Notion, or there's like a lot of different systems. And you really need to train your staff. If you've done some work in the past, you really need to tell them how you've done it, how do you expect this work to be done, because really like people management is tough. You really need to dedicate a lot of time, have like weekly or even like daily check-ins with them. And I would say even in the beginning, for example, when you hire a developer project manager and you try to let them on their own and to work on the problems at your company and like projects, I would definitely spend some extra time to work with them to see if this is really how you plan that to be done. Yeah, of course, this problem is, I would say, much bigger, but I just wanted to like talk about it really briefly at this point here. Challenge number 5, cash flow problems. Running a business is very expensive. You need to pay your taxes, you need to pay your expenses, pay the bills if you have the office, pay the subscription fees for your team. Now it's not like your personal license, now it's a business license. This is more expensive. You need to pay the salaries. And if you plan it very well and very carefully and you don't pay yourself in the beginning much just to barely survive, just to pay all of the expenses, I would go extra step here and save as much money as possible so you have it for the bad times. And what I'm saying is it's not even about like fucking up the projects, not delivering it on time, or like if your employees need to take some sick leave. I'm just saying that in many cases, your clients may actually not pay you on time. And this is also like one thing that, yeah, you need to really tell them in a contract that the payment is due, for example, like 7 days, 2 weeks, or 1 month. Sometimes especially when working with corporates, their policy is like to pay the invoices in like next 3 months, which is ridiculous, but this is how it is, and you will not really change that, unfortunately, because they have all the power. But I'm just saying that overall, you really need to be prepared to have extra money saved, because some of your invoices might never get paid, and it's also not really worth it to
sue someone, especially if you work worldwide, because the actual lawyers, you'll pay more for them than the actual case that you may win. And some of the invoices, they will be just delayed. And this is really normal. Like at this point, we work with more than 150 clients. Some of the invoices, we never saw the money. Some of the invoices, we had to really fight for it because some of the clients, they were just ridiculous with their expectations. And some of them were even like lying to us that this should be done, even though we've never really talked about it. And some of the invoices, they were just delayed. And I think one was like 1 year. Like we're literally fighting for this one invoice because client constantly said that they had no funds, that they are sorry and so on, that they will pay, but they need some more time. And this is just alive. This is how it unfortunately works. Of course, most of the time, everything will be fine. I'm just saying that there will be some of the problems with it, and you just need to be prepared for this. And there's also like a lot of ways to handle that. So for example, what we do is we have this process where we first require our customers to send us money for first 3 work days, and then we charge them monthly. But this is usually on the projects which is split into milestones, and then it switched to retainer contracts. But when we were doing some fixed price projects in the early stages of the company, we usually also like either splitting them to the milestones or just doing half-half. And sometimes we just were getting paid after whole project was delivered, and that was the nightmare, trust me. Challenge number 6 is about having a very high competition and having a really brutal sales process. What I mean by that is even though the potential customer and client like is very nice to you, they guarantee that they will work with you and so on. If you just give them that, if you just give them a little bit more knowledge, like if you prepare some better scope, more detailed offer. And we had it so many times that we've spent ridiculous amount of time to prepare like the offer. They were very personalized. They were like, some of them, they were like 30 pages long. We had some offers that we spent like 30 hours just to prepare them, where we literally could charge for the knowledge that was already there because there was like a whole infrastructure of the app, all of the features listed, everything, all of our internal knowledge that we already know how to do things. We just put it to this document. They just ghosted us. And what they did is that they went to the competitors. They also showed them this offer. They told them how it should be done because they already had something. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, sales process is really brutal, and you'll be rejected many, many times. If you're starting the company, going to the business world, you'll be more rejected than you ever been in your life before. So really don't give up. It's just how it is. I can just guarantee you that out of all of the rejections, there will be deals that you will close. So don't worry about that. This is a tough word. And actually, many, many times, unfortunately, people will choose the price over quality. And the reason is, especially if you're software engineering, building your company, the reason is that most of the people, they don't really understand software engineering. They don't really understand how to write code. For them, there's not really a difference between like really bad programmer and like super senior programmer. They don't understand the concept of like 10x programmer, right? Like there are programmers who can deliver 10x features than other programmers. They don't understand it, and they will never understand it. It's not really possible to tell them that. I mean, they may tell you that, yeah, they understand, but like if they never coded, if they never built in the software space, I doubt that. I'm just saying that you need to be prepared for this. Okay, challenge number 7 is about your first estimates. They will be terrible. They will be very bad because if you've never done those mistakes before, you just don't know what may go wrong. So right now we have actually our own like equation, like what's the additional project management percentage that we have to add, what's the additional QA budget that we have to add, what if something goes wrong here and here. So yeah, your estimates will be really bad. Usually I'm pretty sure that you will just think about like a happy path of the software, and that's how you'll actually think about it. But I can't even stress it enough how many times we've built some projects, we've tested on our side, and then just client started testing it in the real production world, and it just started to break, and we had to spend so much time, not billable, so we cover it just to finish this project, right? It's crazy. We had many projects where we, first of all, not make any profit, but we also had projects where we actually made a loss. So imagine you're making your company, you're hiring people, you're paying their salaries, you're paying all of that here, office, subscriptions, and then while working with clients, you end up losing money. So yeah, this can happen, but like if you really care on the long run and you really want to build a nice brand, unfortunately you have to make sacrifices. The next challenge is that there's no really room for mistakes and no one really cares that you are starting out. And this is also like super hard challenge to overcome. So if you're starting it out, of course, you don't have all of that experience, but your clients expect you to have, right? If you go to the company, they require you to be expert. So if you create some mistakes to the software that you deliver, to the automation, to the AI, whatever, if you deliver poor quality or miss the deadlines, you will have consequences out of this. So you really need to implement a proper software development techniques to your company. For example, you need to make code reviews. You need to always have a staging. You should have like some productized services, some code pieces that you can reuse that you've already tested before, some frameworks. If you are running like AI automation agency, you need to have the tools that you've used before, like a make.com, like ChatGPT API that you've worked before. Because again, if you're doing something first time, your customers don't really care. Unfortunately, most of the time, if you do a fuck up, they'll just tell you that they don't pay you, so you learn on their behalf, on their expense. They pay you to solve their problem, and this is only what they care. So also for all of the developers out there, guys, clients don't give a about code. They don't care really. What they care is that you build them a solution that solves their problem, and this is only what matters. They don't care if the code is clean. Most of the time they also don't care about the language or like how you write the code or like who wrote the actual code. So that's why I'm saying that there's no room for mistakes, and what your business should focus on is really to solve your customers' problems. Challenge number 9. This is really also something that I've covered, but I'll just add it here. It's about work-life balance, especially in the beginning. I'm pretty sure that you will work 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, but this will not work on the long run. So also over time, you should make a system, how you work. You should make a system that, for example, I have policy that I have no meetings on a Monday. So always on Monday, I just have a deep work. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, I have a lot of meetings. Also Thursday, Friday, I do a lot of deep work. So like you should have proper systems so you don't end up having no vacation days, no weekends, because eventually you will burn out and you'll just hate to do whatever you're doing. And most of you actually are starting the businesses because you want to be free. You want to have your freedom, right? You want to do what you love to do. And it's very easy to actually create like this artificial cage that you'll end up having worse life that you had before starting your business. And I'm also speaking here from my experience. So be careful with this. Block time for the family, prioritize health, learn to delegate. And in the end, you are a human, you are not a machine. All right. And the last one is all about having the systems, having the processes, and having everything documented in one place. And this is something that we actually are learning right now. Since the beginning, we've recreated this notion at least 3 or 4 times. We've recreated the processes, the descriptions, the spaces, how we run the projects, what offers do we send, how we create our posts for social media, how we create the YouTube videos. We were doing this over and over, like in the iterations, but like still like to this day, after 4.5 years, we still are having a lot of chaos in various processes. And that's because of the scale. That's because if you hire more people, you also need to take care of them. You also need to make sure that you teach them, you train them, that they will have all of the knowledge base that they can go through. And even if you have your managers and you expect your managers to train the employees, you also have to double down on this and make sure that they are doing it properly. Because also here, I'm speaking from experience. When we hired project managers, their style of working were completely different. So we really had to standardize it. Make sure to subscribe to proper tools like Notion, ClickUp, Jira, Pipedrive, Google Workspace, then for communication like Slack, because in the long run, it's really worth it, because once the chaos is there, it's super hard to control it. A little bonus from my side is that you should gather as many data as possible from day one. So for example, in ClickUp right now, we have various projects, that various tasks, and all of our staff members, developers, project managers, designers, they are logging their time for various tasks, for various projects, for various clients. And we have a Lucas Studio as our central BI tool where we can actually monitor and see which projects are profitable, which tasks we spend, if we spend too many times on our internal meetings at Delta Logic. And based on all of the data and located in one place, we can actually do proper decisions about the company. And again, it's all about iteration, being better, fixing what's not working, scaling. And that will be it. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to learn something about running software business, let me know about the topics here in the comments. And also, if you want to just talk one-on-one with me, I have a link in the description so you can go and click it. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and I see you in the next one. Bye-bye.